remember first getting up at around 3:40 in the morning. I got up carefully in the hotel bed that Dad was in with me, so as not to wake anyone up. And Mom was alone in the other bed. I went inside of the bathroom with the unfinished first self-portrait. It was at this point that I decided I had to do 2 self-portraits. But first I would finish the first one, even though the first one I can't really use in branding because it has a logo for the Red Sox. On my shirt. I went in the bathroom with that unfinished styrofoam drawing project and that new Ultimate Collection pack of Sharpie markers. Carried those 2 things into the bathroom, turned on the light after closing the door most of the way, and then finished closing it and locked it so I could work on the styrofoam drawing without waking up my parents. I did this for about an hour before Dad got up to use the bathroom. Then I went back to the bed briefly before carefully sneaking out again. I believe this was around 5:04 a.m. And then I worked on the unfinished styrofoam drawing until about a few minutes before 7 in the morning. The first session I finished coloring in the shorts, and the second session I finished coloring in the shirt. After we got ready, we went out sometime between 7 and 8 in the morning for the hotel's complimentary breakfast. It was around 7:30 a.m. when I had my first helping of breakfast, trying to lean on mostly low carb stuff like the eggs and the sausage. And then I got some seconds. That were pretty much eggs and sausage with 2 packets of ketchup, one for the eggs and another for the sausage. Dad in particular brought me over some little plastic cups of orange juice, then one of milk, and some coffee. Then I think it was around 9 when we drove over to Brianna's apartment unit. Parked at the parking lot, and she practiced drawing blood on Dad, which went pretty well. This being the second time she did a blood draw on Dad, the first time being yesterday. After that, I recall us doing some walking around. After we parked at a parking lot, one of my parents paid for an hour of parking from 10 to 11 in the morning. During that hour, we went to a Starbucks in Pennsylvania, during which we briefly went into that Starbucks to look for a Pennsylvania coffee mug for Dad. Dad already has a Pennsylvania-themed coffee mug, but in this case, we would be getting Dad a different Pennsylvania-themed coffee mug. But we only went to that Starbucks location briefly because I'm assuming they ended up not having that exact coffee mug. That and there was a pretty long line there. I recall it was around noon. That Dad, Mom, and I decided to drive back home. I was kind of hoping that we could make a stop at Jenny's Ice Cream. After dropping my sister back off at her apartment unit. But Dad ultimately decided against that. And it would have to be something we did next time we went to Philly. While leaving, we witnessed the aftermath of some collisions on the Philadelphia highway, one of which involved two cars on a tow truck, one of those big tow trucks. It's one of those tow trucks with that big platform, in which one car is on top of the platform, in this case the one with its front damaged, and the other one is kind of towed on the ground. The one with its back damaged. The cars look to be pretty okay. But they were visibly damaged and had to be towed. Hopefully everyone turned out okay from those collisions. Those collisions meant that there were either some pieces of sharp glass on those roads, and at one point some little planks of wood were left kind of stacked on the road, and I saw those planks of wood, little planks, right before we ran them over. At some point around 6 p.m., 5 to 6 p.m., we ended up having to go to first a Mr. Tire shop. That's where a man who worked there told us, after looking at our tires, that one of them had multiple holes. And then we had to go to a Marvis discount tire shop to get a new tire. The multiple holes explained why while Dad drove Mom's car this whole time for the whole trip to Philadelphia and back home. But in this case, it only happened, the low tire pressure alerts only came at some point during the car ride back home. Mom noticed the alert, and then Dad noticed the alert. They correctly assumed it was leakage, inflated the tire back up. According to my best predictions, my best recollection, it was the front right tire that had the multiple holes. Filled it up at some kind of gas station. Some sort of gas station with some kind of air pump. I think we got that first. Low tire pressure alert around 4 p.m. after I intentionally went to sleep on the car ride back home. I started with an 81% charge on my phone, and at this point was trying to avoid completely draining the battery on my phone. entertaining myself by reading stuff on the web through my phone. Kept turning it on. Even though by this point, that bit of plastic that makes up my phone case over that little button for the Android that's meant to turn it on and off. That little bit of plastic fell off, thus making it harder, but still more than doable for me to turn the phone off and on again. As I kept deciding to read and then turn the phone back off. After we filled the tire back up, it lasted about an hour before we got another low tire pressure alert. And I think it was that point that Dad and Mom made the decision to first go to Mr. Tire. And then we went to Marvis Discount Tire because that's what the worker at Mr. Tire told us to do. Luckily, in the case of the inspection at Mr. Tire, that took about 10 minutes, and then replacing the tire at Mavis Discount Tire, that took maybe 15 minutes, though I wasn't exactly keeping track of the minutes as they passed. I think maybe by that point I had something around a 40 to 20% charge on my phone. And despite that, it lasted most of the car ride back home, with somewhere between an hour to 15 minutes left. An hour before the screen got really dark at a charge of 5%, to the point where I could only see the screen. If we were in shade in the car. And then 15 minutes left before the battery was completely empty and the phone powered off. I was able to charge it back up at home, no problem. Mom initially wanted to get Mark's Pizzeria. So we would have something to eat for both tonight and tomorrow. Until she got back from work. She didn't want to get takeout from an Americanized Chinese restaurant. She was too tired to go to Core Life, let alone go grocery shopping at Wegmans, which were things I suggested. The thing is, we ultimately couldn't go to Mark's Pizzeria because by the time I made the decision to place the intended order of a big bundle coupon special from Mark's Pizzeria, turns out they closed at 9 today, 9 p.m. We would have gotten home around 6 p.m. had it not been for needing to replace our tire, our problems with that tire. But as a result of those issues, we got home around 8. And my phone was completely dead, had to recharge it. I ended up recharging it to about 60% by 9 p.m. Mark's Pizzeria was closed, so we ended up having to go to Wendy's to get some drive-thru. I made an attempt to get a large Neapolitan Frosty, which is vanilla, chocolate, and strawberry. I ended up opting for a strawberry twist Frosty, which is strawberry and chocolate. Got a large of that. This is one of 2 milks Mom got from the Wendy's location. She got a Dave single. I got 2 crispy chicken sandwiches, one of which I'm having now, along with some leftover tortellini Mom made some days ago. I got a thing of large fries. And I got a big bacon cheddar sandwich. It all came to $40 and some cents, which was paid with 2 $20 bills and a $1 bill. So for change, we got back just coins. I had the large fries, strawberry chocolate twist Frosty, and the big bacon cheddar around 9:30 p.m. And that actually wasn't our first time going to Wendy's today. We earlier went to Wendy's at around 6 p.m., during which Dad got me some chicken nuggets. Wendy's does some pretty good chicken nuggets, by the way, with a little container of barbecue sauce. And a sandwich, I believe it was a Dave single. In this case, Mom got the Dave single for herself the second time. we went to Wendy's. The first time was during the car ride back home and was possibly in response to our tire issues. Is something along those lines. I believe by that point, somewhere there was a point in which Dad and Mom reinflated that tire a second time, although I'm not 100% sure about that.